Hello and welcome to our simple interest calculations. We're going to do two questions today. One will be sort of first level basic question, and second will involve some algebra, so kind of kick it up a notch. Just a sort of note to self, our time frames. So if we hear someone talk about monthly, we're going to be thinking about 12, weekly 52. If you do half of 52, so every second week, you get 26 biweekly payments or contributions in 1 year. And if you do a half of every month, you'll get 24 semi-monthly. So often the 24 and 26 get confused, but we just want to make real careful, real sure that we're using the right number. So biweekly is going to be 26. And we know this in our personal lives because sometimes if you get paid biweekly, there's those magic months where you get one extra check. And it's wonderful to get 3 checks in 1 month. Trust me. Not so good if you're making car payments or mortgage payments. So we're just going to be looking in the question for some keywords for these things. So we've got our simple interest formula. I equals PRT. We know that this is going to be a simple interest question because we see the word simple in the question. So oftentimes it doesn't include the word simple, but if we see the word compound, we definitely will not be using this formula. So in this case, we've got a single investment of $2,000. Feel free to, indicate to yourself what those keywords are. So the 2,000 is representing P for principal, or how much we start with. The rate we could see here at 4.2%. Problem though, we can't use that number right now. We have to take 4.2% and convert it to a decimal. So we're going to divide by 100 in order to do that, so that we get our decimal form. And then the last number that we're looking at is the 130 months for the investment time. So T for time. Again, we need that in terms of years. So we'll use one of these numbers to convert. In the case of months, if we divide by 12, we'll see that we have 2.5 years. So all of our simple interest calculations will be done in years and showing decimal form of the rate. So let's substitute from the question. We'll put these, it's nice to put them inside brackets. But in terms of showing your work, this is sort of a necessary step. And then these brackets in between them is a multiply sign. So if we multiply that all through together, we would get 200. What is that? That's dollars. So in terms of the question, how much interest? $200 is a sufficient answer. Sometimes the question's sneaky and says how much is in her account after she invests the $2,000, blah, blah, blah. So what we need to do is solve for I and reconsider what did we start with. So after the 130 months, or 2.5 years, there should be $220 in her account. So that's sort of a level 1 type question. We can also see sort of a level 2 type question where we have where we're given the interest and we need to solve for, let's say, rate or principal or time. So again, it's a great idea to go through the question and figure out what is given, what is required. So you want a $500 investment to make $300 interest. They're telling us the interest. They're telling us what we start with in terms of principal. They're telling us the rate, how long. How long is just another word for time. So what we're going to be solving here is time. So let's substitute in what we know. So the 0.03, where does that come from? We need to take that 3% and just do a side calculation. Some of you know to move the decimal places 2 spots to the left. Others, if that's sort of not on the tip of your tongue, this divide by 100 will work every time. So we're going to multiply these together. And that t is still remaining for time. So that variable of years is what we're trying to solve for. So let's just isolate that because we want t all by itself. And the only way to break this multiplication is to do division. So 15 over 15 cancels, it becomes a 1. So we're talking about 1t. But what we want to make sure that we do is not forget to balance this and kind of do it on the other side. So whatever we do to one side, we do to the other, which will show us 300 divided by 15, top divided by bottom, should give us 20. What is that? 20 years.